She walked into the wrong room, got framed for a murder she didn't commit, and now Korea's most feared gangster has to decide whether to kill her or save her, while every criminal in Seoul wants her dead. The twist? The man who dragged her into his fortress isn't offering protection, he's claiming ownership. Now Bella's trapped in Seo-jun's world with her 16-year-old sister's life hanging in the balance, and the only man who can keep her alive might be the one who destroys her completely. Welcome back to the channel, lovelies. Hit subscribe if you're ready for this ride, and let's dive in. She carried the tray through the velvet-draped hallway of the Gangnam nightclub, exhausted from 12 straight hours of work. The manager's instructions were urgent. Penthouse suite, top floor, drop the food, and leave immediately. But exhaustion made people careless. When she pushed open the heavy door, silence screamed danger. Her eyes swept across marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's glittering skyline, and then the bed, a white dress shirt, soaked in blood. Next to it, gleaming under soft amber light, lay a gun. Her breath caught. Someone was hurt. Someone needed help. The tray crashed to the floor as she moved toward the weapon without thinking. Her hand closed around cold metal. The click of expensive shoes on marble. Slow. Deliberate. The door opened. He stood in the doorway like a dark prince. Tailored black suit. Perfectly styled hair despite the late hour. Eyes that could strip away lies with a single glance. She recognized him immediately. Seo-jun, the untouchable crime lord who owned half of Seoul's underground. His gaze dropped to the gun in her trembling hand, then to the bloodied shirt, then back to her face. "Well," he said softly in Korean, his voice like silk wrapped around a blade. "This is unexpected." Heavy boots thundered down the hallway. Armed men burst through the door, weapons drawn, eyes wild with fury. "There!" one roared. "The bitch who killed Marco." She didn't know anyone named Marco. She'd never killed anyone. But the evidence screamed guilt. Seo-jun moved faster than she thought possible, his hand locked around her wrist as gunfire exploded. Glass shattered. He dragged her toward a hidden panel in the wall, and she stumbled after him because staying meant dying. Behind them, men screamed orders. And wrapped around her wrist, the iron grip of a man who either just saved her life or was about to end it himself. The black Genesis SUV tore through midnight Seoul streets. She'd been shoved into the back seat between two stone-faced guards. Up front, Seo-jun made phone calls in clipped, dangerous tones. "Secure the sister. Now. Find her and bring her to the safe house before sunrise." Her blood turned to ice. "What did you just say?" The words tore from her throat. "What do you mean, my sister?" He turned slightly. "You didn't think this would only affect you, did you?" Panic flooded her. Her sister was only 16, still in school, still innocent. "She has nothing to do with this. It doesn't matter." His voice was final. "What matters is what they think she knows. By tomorrow morning, every rival organization in Seoul will have her picture. She's leverage now." The SUV pulled through iron gates into an estate in Pyeongchang-dong. Sprawling grounds, fountains, security cameras tracking their every movement. "You'll stay in the East Wing," he said, leading her down a hallway lined with original artwork. "Your sister will have the room next to yours." "I'm a prisoner." She stopped walking. "I'm keeping you alive." He turned to face her fully. "That gun you were holding? It killed a captain in the Voss family. You just gave them an excuse for war." "But I didn't." "I know." Something flickered across his face. "But they don't. Until we prove who actually pulled that trigger, you're safer here." "And if I refuse?" "Then you'll be dead by morning, and so will your sister." She was led to a bedroom larger than her entire apartment in Mapogu. Silk sheets. A walk-in closet filled with expensive clothes in exactly her size. Someone had been planning this. Someone had been watching her. As dawn broke over Seoul, one terrifying thought crystallized. He said she was under his protection until they found the real killer. But what if the real killer was standing right beside her all along? Morning came with a knock. A woman entered with breakfast. "Mr. SEO asked me to bring you this." "Where's my sister?" "She arrived 2 hours ago, safe, sleeping next door." Relief nearly buckled her knees. "Can I see her?" "After breakfast. Mr. SEO wants to speak with you first." She found him in an office, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, screens showing security footage. He looked up when she entered. "Sit," she remained standing. "I want to see my sister." "And you will, but first we talk." He leaned back. "Bella Walter, 26 years old, working double shifts for 3 years, waitress at night, cleaning offices at dawn. You send 70% of your earnings to support your mother and pay for your sister's education." Ice flooded her veins. "How do you—" "Your favorite coffee is terrible instant with too much sugar. You volunteer at the community center on Sunday mornings. You haven't been on a date in 18 months. He stood, moving around the desk. "I know you're innocent, Bella. Your hands were shaking too much. Your fear was too real." "Then why?" "Because knowing you're innocent and proving it are two different things." He stopped close enough that she could smell his cologne. "The Voss family doesn't care about evidence. They care about revenge. Right now, you're the most convenient target. So you're just going to keep me here. What I want is to keep you alive long enough to find the real killer. And then what?" "That depends." He stepped closer, caging her against his desk. "On whether you survive the next few weeks. On whether your sister survives. On whether you can handle being in my world without breaking." "I'm stronger than I look," she whispered. "I know." His voice dropped. "That's why you're still standing here. That's why—" An explosion rocked the building. Alarms shrieked. He grabbed her wrist and pulled her toward a hidden panel. "Get inside. Don't come out until I tell you." "My sister is safe in a room like this." He pushed her through the doorway. "Stay quiet. If I don't come back, there's a phone in the drawer. Call the number programmed as Phoenix." Then he was gone. On security monitors, she watched armed men storm the estate, watched as Seo Jun's guards engaged them, watched as bodies fell. And then she saw him, moving through the chaos like death incarnate, every movement precise, every shot lethal. He took a bullet to the shoulder, another to his thigh, but he didn't stop. He fought like a man protecting something precious. As she watched him collapse against a wall, blood staining his suit, one terrifying question burned through her mind. Why would a man who barely knew her risk his life like this? The panel opened. Seo Jun stood there, bleeding from multiple wounds, pale but focused. "You're hurt," she breathed, reaching for him. "I've had worse. Your sister's safe." He started moving, nearly buckling. She caught him, her arm wrapping around his waist. "You need a doctor." "I have one. Downstairs." They made it to a medical room where a nervous doctor waited. The man paled at Seo Jun's wounds. "You need a hospital. Stop the bleeding and keep your mouth shut." As the doctor worked, Bella couldn't look away from the map of violence across his torso, old scars layered over older ones. "You're staring," he said without opening his eyes. "How many of your guards died tonight?" His jaw tightened. 3, maybe 4. Because of me. Because of the Voss family's vendetta. He winced. "Don't take responsibility for other people's violence." "Why did you send most of your guards to protect my sister instead of defending yourself?" He was quiet. "Finally. Because if something happened to her, you'd never forgive me. And I need you to trust me." "Why?" "Because the only way we survive this is together." His phone rang. The conversation was brief in rapid Korean. His expression darkened. "That was my contact in the Voss family. They're offering $5 million for proof of your death." He pushed himself upright. "Every criminal network in Seoul knows your face now. You can't go back to your old life. Ever. So what are you saying?" "I'm saying you're mine now." The words were possessive, final. "Under my protection. In my world. Until I find who framed you." And if you can't find them, his smile was cold, then you stay mine permanently because I don't give up what belongs to me. He led her to her sister's room. When the door opened, her sister threw herself into Bella's arms, sobbing. "I'm okay," Bella whispered, holding her tight. "We're going to be okay." But over her sister's shoulder, she met Seo Jun's eyes, saw the truth written there. Nothing was okay. Nothing would ever be okay again. And somewhere between the bloodshed and the bullets, she'd started to see him as something other than her captor. Started to wonder what it would feel like to be claimed by a man who protected what was his with such brutal, unyielding devotion. 3 weeks passed in strange limbo. Bella and her sister lived in luxury, but armed guards at every door reminded them they were prisoners in paradise. Seo Jun was present, joining them for meals, asking about her sister's studies. But there was always distance, a careful wall between himself and real connection. Until the night she couldn't sleep. She found him in the library around midnight, standing by floor-to-ceiling windows with whiskey, staring at Seoul's lights. "Can't sleep either." His voice was quiet. "Too many questions." "Ask. Who was the man I supposedly killed?" "Marco Voss, nephew of the family patriarch. Ambitious, reckless. Someone used your delivery as cover to kill him, then framed you." "Why me?" "Because you're nobody." No malice, just honesty. No connections, no protection. The perfect scapegoat. "Except you decided to protect me." "I don't abandon innocent people to die for other people's games." "Is that all I am to you?" The question hung heavy. Finally, "No." His phone buzzed. Annoyance flickered across his face. "I have to go out. Business." "At midnight?" His smile was sharp. The kind that doesn't happen in daylight. Through her window later, she watched him emerge with a woman, tall, stunning, in a red dress. The woman touched his arm with familiar ease, followed him inside. Something cold twisted in Bella's chest. Over the next days, she noticed things. Beautiful women arriving for meetings. Seo Jun returning in early morning hours, smelling of expensive perfume. Guards smirking. Protection didn't mean exclusivity. She was under his roof, but not in his heart. That was reserved for women who belonged in his world. "You're quiet today," her sister observed. "Just thinking." "About him?" "The way you watch him. The way he watches you when he thinks no one's paying attention. It's obvious. There's nothing. There could be, though." That evening, she noticed scratches on his neck. Faint red lines disappearing beneath his collar. Marks from passionate encounters. He caught her staring. "Something wrong?" "Everything," she wanted to say. Nothing. That night, she made a decision. She wouldn't let herself feel anything for a man who was never truly hers. She would survive his protection, but she wouldn't give him her heart. Except 2 nights later, she overheard him on the phone, his office door slightly ajar. "Cancel it. All of it. No, I don't care. Cancel them. Because I'm not interested anymore." The next morning, there were no mysterious women, no late-night departures. He stayed, present for meals, working in his office, training with guards. The women stopped coming. And when she caught him watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read, something dangerous bloomed in her chest. Hope. Until one evening, he sat beside her in the library. "I need to tell you something. The investigation is taking longer than expected. It might be months." "Can you handle staying here that long?" "Do I have a choice?" "There's always a choice. I can arrange for you and your sister to leave the country. New identities, new lives. You wouldn't have to stay here. With me." The thought of leaving made her chest ache. What if I want to stay? Something fierce flashed in his eyes. "Then you stay. But you need to understand what that means. Staying here changes things." "How?" "Because every day you're here, it gets harder. Every time I see you, every conversation—" He stopped, waging an internal battle. "I'm trying to be honourable, to give you space. But if you stay much longer, I won't be able to promise I'll keep my hands to myself." And you deserve better than a man who can't give you anything but danger and darkness. He left before she could respond. And as she sat alone, one question consumed her. What if danger and darkness were exactly what she was starting to crave? She stayed. The decision was communicated through her continued presence. Seojun never asked. He simply knew. Something shifted. He started joining her for morning coffee, their conversations evolving from careful small talk to genuine exchanges. He trained her personally in self-defense, his hands correcting her stance with devastating gentleness. If I'm not there, I need to know you can protect yourself, her sister noticed. He looks at you differently now, like you're something precious he's afraid to break. It was a dangerous dance, close enough to feel the heat, careful enough not to burn. Until the night, everything combusted. A business meeting gone wrong left 2 men dead, and Seo-jun barely controlled. She found him in his office, hands braced on his desk, shoulders tight with tension. You should go, he said without looking up. She closed the door instead. What happened? Nothing that concerns you. Everything that affects you concerns me now. He looked up, raw anguish in his eyes. 2 good men died tonight because I made the wrong call. Because I was distracted. Because I've let you become a weakness. She moved closer, rounding the desk. You're not weak. You're human. Human gets people killed in my world. But he didn't step away when she reached him. So what are you going to do? Push me away? I should. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. But God help me, I won't. Because the thought of you not being here, it's the only thing that terrifies me more than caring about you does. Seo-jun, don't. Don't say anything you can't take back. His thumb pressed lightly against her lips. Don't offer me something I'll destroy. She caught his hand. What if I'm not as fragile as you think? If I touch you, I won't stop. If I kiss you, I won't let you go. If I take what I've been craving, there's no going back. You'll be mine in every way. Do you understand? She felt alive for the first time in years. Show me, she whispered. His control snapped. He kissed her like a man drowning, like she was air and salvation and damnation. His mouth was demanding, consuming. She melted into him, fingers fisting in his shirt, body arching against his. When he lifted her onto the desk, scattering papers, she wrapped her legs around him without hesitation. When his hands slid beneath her shirt, reverent and possessive, she gasped his name. They tangled together in desperate connection, in his office, on his desk, with guards outside who would never speak of it. Afterward, he held her against his chest, heart hammering, hands stroking her hair with surprising tenderness. You're mine now, he murmured. Truly mine. And I protect what's mine with everything I have. 3 months passed in stolen moments and careful happiness. Her sister thrived. The investigation continued, and Bella fell deeper into something she could no longer deny was love. Until reality shattered it. The woman arrived during dinner, tall, sophisticated, with professional beauty. She swept through security with ease. Isabella, Seo-jun said evenly in Korean. This is unexpected. Is it? The woman's smile was cold. I heard you were living a domestic life. I had to see it myself. She turned to Bella. So this is her, the waitress who's been keeping you occupied. Bella felt every inch of distance between her world and theirs. Isabella is leaving, Seo-jun said, voice carrying warning. Not before I deliver my message. The Rossi family wants a partnership. They're sending their daughter to negotiate. I'm sure you remember Julia. You two were quite close once. Something flickered in Seo-jun's expression. I'm not interested in partnerships with the Rossis. Not even when it comes with Julia attached. She's quite eager to renew your relationship. She'll be here within the week. Isabella turned to Bella. Enjoy it while it lasts. Seo-jun has a habit of rotating his interests. I'm sure he's told you about the others. No. How surprising. After she left, Bella stepped back when he reached for her. Don't. Isabella is bitter. Nothing she says. Were there others? After me? Women who came here while I was... No. Firm, absolute. After you came into my life, there was no one else. But before... His silence was answer enough. How many? She whispered. Does it matter? Yes. He met her eyes. Too many. Too many women. Too many meaningless encounters. And this, Julia, was a long time ago, before you. But she's coming back. I'll send her away. Will you? Her voice cracked. Or will you slip back into that life? You're not interchangeable, you're... What? She backed away. What am I, Seo-jun? Your prisoner? Your responsibility? Your current distraction? I can't be another woman in a long line waiting for you to get bored. I'm not bored. You're not... Then what am I? What are we? He looked lost. I don't know how to put it into words. There it was. He could protect her, possess her, even care for her. But he couldn't love her the way she needed. I can't do this, she whispered. I can't stay here, loving you, while you figure out if I'm worth more than the women before me. Don't even think about leaving. You don't get to keep me here anymore. The investigation is done. Your men found the real killer 2 weeks ago. I saw the file. The Voss family knows I'm innocent. There's no bounty. His expression confirmed it. When were you going to tell me? You've been lying, keeping me here, letting me believe I needed your protection when you just wanted to keep me. Yes, raw admission. Yes, I wanted to keep you, because you're the only real thing in my life, the only person who makes me feel human. But you can't promise me exclusivity. You can't promise me forever. You can't even promise me tomorrow. I deserve more than that. You deserve everything, and I'm trying. Try harder, or let me go, because I can't love you halfway, Seo-jun. I can't share you. I can't wonder every time you leave if you're coming back to me or someone else. Silence stretched between them. Finally, she delivered the words that shattered them both. I want to leave. Tomorrow. My sister and I. Away from here. Away from you. His face went pale. Bella, can you promise me I'll be the only one? Can you promise me forever? Can you give me what I need? She watched him struggle against years of habits, against avoiding commitment, against his own damaged capacity for love. I don't know if I can be what you need, he finally said. Then let me go, she whispered. He did, and it broke them both. Arrangements were made with ruthless efficiency. A new apartment in Busan, university enrollment for her sister, bank accounts with enough money to live comfortably, new identities, new lives, everything except Seo-jun. She packed with numb hands. He didn't come to say goodbye. The car waited at dawn. Bella took one last look at the Pyeongchang-dong mansion that had been her prison, her haven, her heartbreak. Then she got in and didn't look back. The new apartment was beautiful. Sunlight and safety. Her sister adjusted quickly, made friends, threw herself into school. Bella went through the motions of living, found work at a coffee shop, paid her own bills, lived free from violence and danger. She told herself she was happy. She was lying. 2 months later, her sister found her crying over a news article. The headline, Gangster Boss Critically Injured in Shootout. It's not your fault, her sister said softly. But it felt like it was. The article suggested he'd been reckless, walking into obvious ambushes, fighting with desperation that suggested he didn't care if he lived or died. Women had returned to his life. Parties, old patterns. He'd gone back to his old ways. Except he looked miserable. Photos showed him at events, always surrounded by beautiful women, always perfectly dressed, always with that carefully cultivated smile that didn't reach his eyes. She recognized that look. It was the same one she wore every day. You should call him, her sister said 3 months later. No, nothing's changed. Maybe he can now. Maybe almost dying made him realize some things. Or maybe it just made him more reckless. But at night, alone, she let herself imagine it. The call came 4 months after she left, not from Seo Jun, from one of his men. Ms. Walter, Mr. Seo specifically instructed that if anything happened to him, you were to be notified immediately. Her blood turned to ice. What happened? He's been shot multiple times. The doctors don't think he'll make it through the night. He's asking for you. The phone slipped from her fingers. Her sister found her 10 minutes later, throwing clothes into a bag with shaking hands. I have to go. I know. Go. The private jet got her back to Seoul in hours. A car took her directly to a private hospital. She pushed open the door to his room. He looked broken. Bandages covered his chest and abdomen. Monitors beeped. His face was pale, drawn with pain, but when his eyes found hers, relief flooded them. You came, he whispered. She moved to his bedside, anger and hurt dissolving in the face of his suffering. You idiot! What did you do? Got shot, obviously. The article said you walked into an ambush. I walked in because I wanted it to end. The emptiness, the pretending, acting like I could go back to who I was before you. His hand found hers, squeezing weakly. I couldn't do it, Bella. Couldn't go back. Couldn't fill the space you left. I tried. But every woman was wrong. Every touch felt like betrayal. So you decided to die quickly instead? No. I decided to stop lying to myself. Stopped pretending I could live without you. Stopped being a coward about what I feel. And what do you feel? Terrified. Because I love you. Have loved you since that first night, probably. And loving you means being vulnerable. Means changing everything I've been. Her breath caught. You love me? Desperately. Completely. In ways I didn't think I was capable of. His grip tightened. I know I should have said it before. Should have given you the words when you asked. But I was afraid. Afraid I'd ruin you. Afraid I wasn't enough. Afraid you'd realize you deserved better and leave anyway. So you let me leave. I let you go because I couldn't give you what you needed. But these last 4 months have been hell. And lying here thinking I might die without telling you the truth? I couldn't do that to us. She was crying openly. You're an idiot. I know. You almost died. I know. You put yourself in danger because you were too stubborn. I love you. He pulled her down gently until her forehead rested against his. I love you, Bella Walter, and if you give me another chance, I swear I'll spend every day proving it. No other women, no more walls, no more pretending I can exist in a world that doesn't have you in it. You promise? On everything I have. Everything I am. His lips brushed hers softly. You're my choice, my only choice, from now until whatever end we find. She kissed him through her tears. If you ever get yourself shot again. You'll kill me yourself, he murmured. Worse, I'll leave again, and I won't come back. Then I guess I'll have to stay alive. Can't risk losing you twice. She stayed through the night, through his recovery, through the weeks it took him to heal. Watched as he kept his word, turned away business that required his old tactics, restructured his organization to be less violent, more strategic. Watched as he chose her, every single day. 6 months after she'd returned, he asked her something that made her heart stop. Marry me. They were in the library where so much of their story had unfolded. He dropped to one knee despite injuries that still bothered him. I'm not promising you an easy life. I'm not promising you safety or normalcy. But I'm promising you me. All of me. Forever. She pulled him to his feet and kissed him breathless. Yes. They married quietly, privately, with only her sister and his most trusted men as witnesses. And when, a year later, she told him she was pregnant, the look of pure joy and terror on his face made her laugh and cry simultaneously. I'm going to be a terrible father, he said, pulling her close. Probably, she agreed, but you'll try. And that's what matters. Their daughter was born on a rainy Tuesday in October. Tiny, perfect, with her father's eyes and her mother's strength. Watching Seo-jun hold their child for the first time, this man who'd lived in violence and darkness, Bella saw the final pieces of his transformation click into place. He was still dangerous, still powerful, but he was also gentle, devoted, hers. And that was everything. Life settled into something resembling peace. Not safety, never that, but a kind of peaceful vigilance where threats were anticipated and neutralized before they could reach his family. Their daughter, Minji, turned 2, bright and curious. With her father's intensity and her mother's warmth, Bella's sister had graduated and was working in law, using the education Seo-jun funded. Everything should have been perfect. Except the past refused to stay buried. It started with Isabella. Not in person, that would be too simple. Instead, a letter, hand-delivered to their home. Seo-jun read it first, his expression darkening. "What does it say?" Bella asked, Minji playing with blocks at her feet. He handed it over. "Dear Seo-jun, I hope this finds you well in your domestic bliss. I must confess I never believed you capable of such commitment. I'm writing because I thought you should know Julia is back. The woman you dismissed when you became obsessed with your waitress is now engaged to the Rossi heir. The wedding will unite 2 powerful families. They're planning something. I thought you might want to prepare your little family before the storm arrives. Consider this a parting gift." Bella's hands trembled. Is this a threat? A warning? His jaw was tight. Isabella plays both sides, but she's not wrong. The Rossi-Julia alliance is significant. What does that mean for us? It means the life I left behind is coming back. The connections I severed, the alliances I broke. They're rallying against me. What threat? A reformed criminal who chose love over power. I'm proof that people like us can change. Some see that as weakness. Others see it as dangerous precedent. Minji toddled over, raising her arms to be picked up. He lifted her effortlessly. "So what do we do?" Bella asked. "We prepare. And we make sure they know that changing doesn't mean becoming weak. It means I now have something I'll destroy them to protect." Preparations began immediately. Security increased. Safe houses established. Contingency plans reviewed. Bella learned proper marksmanship. Her sister was temporarily relocated. Through it all, Bella watched her husband transform back into the lethal strategist he'd been. Except now, he was fighting for family. 3 weeks later, the first move was made. One of Seo-jun's legitimate businesses was raided by men wearing police uniforms. By the time real authorities arrived, hundreds of thousands in inventory had been stolen. "They're testing us," he said that night. "Seeing if I'll respond the old way, with violence. What's the new way? Strategy, patience, hitting them where it hurts, and making sure you and Minji are never in the line of fire." But safety was an illusion. The second attack came at Minji's birthday party. They'd tried to make it normal, invited children from her playgroup, hired entertainers, filled the garden with balloons and laughter. Bella watched her daughter's joy and almost believed they could have this. Then she noticed the man, dressed as catering staff, but his movements were wrong. Too alert. His hand kept drifting to his waist. She caught Seo-jun's eye and gave the signal. Everything happened in seconds. He moved toward the threat. Guards materialized. Parents grabbed children. And Bella scooped up Minji, running for the panic room. Behind her, shouting, gunfire. The sounds of violence she'd hoped her daughter would never know. In the panic room, Minji cried against her chest. "Mama's scared. Want Appa." "Appa's coming, baby." Bella held her tight, watching monitors as Seo-jun and his men subdued 3 infiltrators. It was over in minutes. The men were captured. The party was destroyed. And their daughter's innocence had taken its first real blow. That night, after Minji finally slept, Bella found him in his office. Blood on his hands, exhaustion in every line of his body. "I can't do this," she said quietly. Fear flashed in his eyes. Can't do what? Watch our daughter grow up in this world. Watch her birthday parties turn into battlefields. I know. He pulled her into his arms despite the blood and violence still clinging to him. I know, and I'm sorry. Then end it. Whatever this war is, end it. Give them what they need. Make it stop. They want me dead, Bella, or broken, or returned under their control. There's no negotiation that doesn't end with me losing you and Minji. Then we run. They'll find us. The Rossi family has reach across continents. Running just extends the hunt. The only way to truly end this is to finish it. Finish it how? His silence was answer enough. You're going to kill them. I'm going to eliminate the threat. Permanently. And then what? Then we're safe? Her laugh was bitter. You'll have blood on your hands again. You'll have to become the man you were trying to leave behind. I know, but it's the only way I know to keep you safe. To give Minji a chance at life without this hanging over her. She stepped back, heartbreaking. I didn't fall in love with a killer. I fell in love with the man trying to be better. That man is a luxury we can't afford right now. His eyes were bleak. When our daughter's birthday becomes a war zone, I have to protect you. That's not negotiable. Even if it costs your soul. My soul was gone before I met you. You've been helping me find pieces of it. He cupped her face. Let me do this. Let me protect my family the only way I know how. And then I'll find a way back to being the man you fell in love with, I promise. She wanted to argue, wanted to find another way. But she'd lived in his world long enough to know the truth. Sometimes darkness was the only shield that kept the light alive. How long? 2 weeks, maybe 3. His thumb brushed away her tears. And then we disappear. Not because we're running, but because we're choosing a different life. Minji needs normal. Needs school and friends and birthday parties without armed guards. Then that's what I'll give you. His arms tightened around her. 2 weeks. Just us. She kissed him, tasting promise and desperation. Come back to me. Do what you have to do, but come back to us. Always. He kissed her like it might be the last time. No matter what it costs. The next morning he was gone. His men told her nothing. She held Minji close and prayed that when Seojun came back, there would still be enough of the man she loved left to salvage. But as days passed with no word, as news of violent incidents across Seoul reached her ears, she wondered if some prices were too high to pay. 9 days. That's how long Bella went without hearing from Seojun. 9 days of silence broken only by terse updates. He's alive. He sends his love. Minji asked for Appa every night. Bella had no answers beyond soon, baby. The news was careful not to report most of it, but whispers reached her anyway. Strategic strikes that dismantled their enemies piece by piece. And deaths. Always deaths. On the 10th day, his second-in-command arrived. He's requesting your presence. It's time to finish this. Finish it how? There's a meeting. The patriarch has agreed to negotiate. Mr. Seojun wants you there, says you deserve to see how it ends. So she went. Her sister came to watch Minji, armed guards ensuring their safety. She was driven to a private estate outside Seoul, neutral ground. Seojun was waiting. He looked different, harder. The softness she'd seen in him had been replaced by cold calculation. His suit was pristine, but she could see barely healed wounds. Exhaustion in his eyes. You shouldn't be here, he said, pulling her into his arms anyway. Then why did you ask me to come? Because I need to remember. His voice was rough. Need to see you before I walk into that room. He pulled back, cupping her face. I love you. Whatever happens, remember I love you. What's going to happen? Hopefully the end. They're broken. This meeting is their surrender. Then why do you look like you're going to war? Because trusting men like this is how people die. He kissed her forehead. Wait here. If anything goes wrong, nothing's going to go wrong. You're going to negotiate peace, and then we're going to leave. Yes. He said it like he was trying to convince himself. Then he was gone, disappearing into the estate with his guards. Bella watched, her heart hammering, every minute stretching into eternity. That's when gunfire erupted inside. Everything descended into chaos. Guards rushed forward, shouting, more gunfire, windows shattering. Then, an explosion that rocked the entire structure. SEO Jun! Bella tried to run forward, but arms caught her, holding her back. Another explosion, flames licking from windows, people streaming out, some running, some carrying wounded. And then she saw him. SEO Jun, stumbling out, bleeding from a head wound, supporting another man. His suit was torn, burned, but he was alive. She tore free and ran to him. You're alive. Trap. The word came out hoarse. They weren't surrendering, they were trying to eliminate all threats at once. He looked at the burning building. It's going to be war now. Real war. Then we leave. Right now. We get Minji and... We can't. His eyes met hers with terrible truth. If I run now, the chaos will consume everything. Innocent people will die. The city will tear itself apart. That's not your responsibility. I can't. The words destroyed him. Too many people depend on the stability I represent. Your sister, Minji, everyone we care about. They'll all be targets in the war that follows. So what are you saying? He pulled her close. I'm saying I have to stay, have to end this properly, have to become the man I was trying to escape, permanently. No, you promised. I know what I promised. He held her face. And I'm breaking it. Because the only way to give you and Minji any chance at peace is for me to take control. To become what they fear. You're asking me to watch you become a monster. I'm asking you to let me save you the only way I know how. And then, take Minji and leave. Build that normal life without me. Let me be the monster in the shadows that keeps you safe from a distance. No, I won't take your daughter and disappear while you... You have to. His voice was firm. Because I can't do what needs to be done if I'm worried about you. Can't make hard choices if I'm distracted by love. He pulled her into a desperate kiss. Please, Bella. Please let me protect you one last time. She tasted blood and smoke and the death of every dream. How long? I don't know. Months. Maybe years. However long it takes. And then? Then I find you. If you'll still have me. If I'm still human enough to deserve you. His forehead pressed to hers. But promise me something. What? Don't wait for me. Don't put your life on hold. If you find someone who can give you the normal I can't, his voice broke. Let yourself be happy, even if it's not with me. How can you ask me that? Because I love you more than I love possessing you. He kissed her one more time. Now go. My men will take you home, help you pack, get you somewhere safe by morning. Don't tell me where. Seojun. Go. The command was absolute, before I changed my mind. So she went. Let herself be driven back, help to pack, hold Minji and whisper lies about Appa being on a trip. As they left at dawn, Minji sleeping against her shoulder, Bella looked back at the mansion where she'd learned that love could be dangerous and still the most precious thing in the world. Seojun stood on the balcony, watching them leave. Even from a distance, she could see the devastation on his face. She mouthed 3 words. I love you. He nodded once, then turned away. 3 years later, the small coastal town was nothing like Seoul. Just tree-lined streets, friendly neighbours, and a life so normal it sometimes felt surreal. Minji was 5 now, starting kindergarten. Making friends who knew nothing of her father beyond Appa works far away. Bella had built something here, a small cafe that was actually hers, community connections, a life that belonged to them. But she dreamed of him every single night. She dated once, a kind teacher who loved Minji and made her laugh. It lasted 3 months before she ended it, because kissing him felt like betrayal. You're still in love with him, her sister said. I know, Bella had stopped denying it. But he's not coming back. 3 years and not one word. The letter arrived on a Tuesday, hand-delivered by a man in an expensive suit. Inside, in handwriting she'd memorized, "It's done." 2 words. That's all. The knock came at 3 a.m. She grabbed the weapon from her nightstand and moved through the dark house. Through the peephole she saw him. Older, scars she didn't recognize, hair longer, but unmistakably Seo-jun. She opened the door with trembling hands. "Hi," he said quietly. "Hi." Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry it took so long. The situation was complicated. Took longer to stabilize than expected." He struggled for words. "I wanted to come sooner. Every day." "Why didn't you?" "Because I needed to be sure that your safety wouldn't be compromised. And I needed to be sure there was still something human left in me." His eyes searched hers. "I don't know if I'll ever be the man I was before. Don't know if you still want me." She should have been cautious, should have asked questions, should have protected her heart. Instead, she stepped forward and pulled him inside. The kiss was desperate, years of longing compressed into a single moment. "I missed you," she gasped. "Every day." "I love you." He said it like a vow. Never stopped. Afterward, tangled together, he told her everything. The war he'd waged, the empire he'd restructured, the therapy he'd started with a trauma specialist. "I wanted to come back clean," he said. "Not perfect, but better." "And now?" "That depends on you." He caught her hand. "I've set things up so I can step back. I can be mostly here, mostly present. Mostly yours." "Mostly?" 1 or 2 trips a month, never more than a few days. Always with maximum security. You and Minji come first." His eyes held hers. "Can you live with mostly? It's the most honest version of what our life would look like. Does Minji remember you?" "Pieces. Stories." Bella's voice was soft. "I never let her forget." They crept into Minji's room. She was sprawled across her bed, clutching a stuffed animal. Seo-jun's face crumpled. "She's so big." "She's brilliant, strong, kind. She has your courage." "Does she hate me?" "She just knows Appa loves her." Bella turned to face him. "But if you come back, you can't disappear again. She's old enough to remember now." "I'm not disappearing." The vow was absolute. "I came back to stay." The next morning, Minji found them in the kitchen. She froze, staring at the stranger making coffee with her mother. "Minji, baby," Bella started. "This is Appa." The word was barely a whisper. Then louder. "Appa!" She launched herself at him, and Seo-jun caught her, holding her like she was made of glass and starlight. "Hi, princess." His voice was thick with tears. "I'm so sorry I've been away." "You're here now." Minji pulled back to study his face. "Are you staying?" He looked at Bella over their daughter's head, the question in his eyes. She nodded. "Yes," he told Minji. "I'm staying." "Forever?" "For as long as you want me." "Forever, then." She said it with absolute certainty. "And tomorrow we can get pancakes, and I can show you my school. And my best friend." She chattered on, years of saved-up stories pouring out, and Seo-jun listened to every word like it was scripture. Later, after Minji was at school, Bella asked, "What if they come back? What if the stability falls apart?" "Then, I deal with it." He pulled her close. "But from a distance, with protection around you. And if I ever have to choose between that world and this one again," his eyes were certain, "I choose you. Every time." "You say that now?" "I've spent 3 years proving it." He kissed her forehead. "I'm not perfect. I'll probably mess up. There will be days when I struggle with being normal. But I want to struggle, want to try, want to build a life where Minji doesn't grow up afraid." She kissed him then, tasting hope and possibility. 6 months later, they married again, with Minji as their flower girl, Bella's sister as maid of honor, and a community that had no idea who Seo-jun had been. They only knew who he was now. Minji's devoted father, Bella's steady partner, the man who coached Little League and attended school meetings, he still had nightmares, still tensed at sudden noises. But he was there, present, trying. 2 years after his return, Bella found him in their backyard, watching Minji play. "What are you thinking?" she asked, sliding her arms around him. "That I don't deserve this." His voice was quiet. "Stop." She turned him to face her. "You fought for this, changed your entire life for this. You deserve every moment of peace. Sometimes I worry it won't last. Then I'll be here to remind you it's real." She kissed him softly. "We're real. And yes, it's imperfect. Yes, you still have to make occasional trips. But you came back. You chose us every day. And that's more than enough." Minji ran over then, demanding Appa push her on the swing. He went willingly, and Bella watched her family, her impossible, hard-won, beautiful family, and felt complete. Not because everything was perfect, but because they'd walked through fire and emerged together. And as the sun set on their small town, Bella understood the truth. They'd both been waiting their entire lives for this moment, for the moment after the flames died down, when danger transformed into safety, when love stopped being survival and became simply living. And it was worth every scar, every tear, every impossible choice, because they'd made it through, together. And that was everything. So that's their story, lovelies. Would you have waited 3 years? Let me know in the comments, hit that like button if you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.